The air crackles with tension inside a stuffy dean's office, where a black student stands tall, his fists clenched, facing a desk piled with papers and a man who's just told him his future's over. His name's Jamal Carter, 20, brilliant, a mind sharper than steel, but right now he's a target, pinned by a racist dean who's forcing him to withdraw from the university he's fought to conquer. Across the desk sits Dean Richard Hargrove, 50, smug, white-haired, his pen poised like a weapon, a smirk curling his lips as he thinks he's won, as he thinks he can crush a black kid with a signature. He sees a nobody, a threat to his order, unaware he's just stepped on a landmine he can't defuse. In the next hour, you're about to see a story so fierce, so electric, it'll jolt your bones, a tale where injustice swings its hammer, only to get shattered by a black genius who turns the system inside out. This isn't just a fight for a degree, this is a war, a triumph that'll make you cheer and shake the earth. Welcome to Black Triumph Stories. Strap in, because we're diving into the fire right now. It's a crisp fall afternoon on the sprawling campus of Westfield University, a prestigious school tucked away in the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, where ivy climbs red brick buildings and the air hums with the rustle of leaves and the chatter of students hurrying to class. The sun slants through tall oaks, casting dappled shadows across manicured lawns, the kind of place that looks like a postcard, perfect, orderly, elite. But beneath the surface there's a tension, a quiet current that runs through the halls, a whisper of who belongs and who doesn't. Inside the administration building, up on the third floor, the dean's office sits like a fortress, dark wood paneling, shelves stuffed with leather-bound books, a window overlooking the quad where students laugh and study, oblivious to the storm brewing behind closed doors. The air's stale here, thick with the scent of old paper and coffee, the hum of a radiator rattling in the corner, a space that feels more like a courtroom than an office. At the center of the room stands Jamal Carter, 20 years old, lean but solid, his frame wrapped in a worn hoodie and jeans, his backpack slung over one shoulder, his dark eyes sharp and steady, glinting with a fire he's learned to keep under control. His hair is cropped close, his jaw set, his hands resting at his sides, but there's a tension in them, a readiness that betrays the calm on his face. Jamal's no ordinary student, he's a prodigy, a scholarship kid from Philly's toughest streets, where gunshots echoed off row houses and books were a luxury his mom couldn't buy. He taught himself algebra in 5th grade, cracked calculus by 14, won science fairs with projects he built from scraps, brilliant, relentless, a mind that turned survival into success. Westfield was his dream, top-tier engineering program, a shot at a future his family never had, and he's aced it. 4.0 GPA, top of his class, a star they couldn't ignore. But today he's not here for praise, he's here to fight. Summoned to this office for a meeting he didn't ask for. Behind the desk sits Dean Richard Hargrove, 50 years old, wiry, his white hair thinning, his face a map of lines carved by years of authority, his suit crisp but dated, his tie a muted gray that matches his cold, pale eyes. He's a fixture at Westfield, 15 years as Dean of Engineering, a gatekeeper who prides himself on order, on standards, on keeping the school's reputation pristine, and to him, predictable. Hargrove's old school, a man who sees diversity quotas as a burden, who's grumbled in faculty meetings about lowering the bar, who's never hidden his unease with students like Jamal, black, poor, too good to fit his mold. He's got a file open in front of him, Jamal's transcript glowing with A's, internships, awards. But his pen rests on a withdrawal form, already half-filled, a decision he's made before Jamal even walked in. The summons came yesterday, a curt email. Meeting 3 p.m., my office, no explanation, no warning. Just a command Jamal couldn't dodge. He'd been in lab all morning, tweaking a robotics project that's already caught NASA's eye, his hands steady on circuits, his mind racing with equations when his phone buzzed with the message. Now standing here, he feels the shift. The air's heavy. The stakes high, a fight he didn't pick but won't lose. Hargrove leans back in his chair, arms crossed, his smirk faint but sharp. A predator sizing up prey he's already dismissed. "Mr. Carter," he says. His voice a slow drawl, thick with condescension. "You've had a good run here, better than most, I'll give you that. But it's time to face facts. You don't belong at Westfield." The words land like a punch, deliberate, cold, and the room tightens. The radiators hum, the only sound as Jamal stands there, his backpack still on, his future hanging by a thread. Jamal's no stranger to this, teachers doubting him, counselors steering him to trade school, cops eyeing him on corners. But this is new. A dean with power, a man who can erase 3 years of work with a stroke of his pen. He knows what's at stake, his degree, his shot at NASA, his mom's pride, the life he's building brick by brick. "Sir," he says, his voice steady, clear, cutting through the smirk. "I've earned my place here, every grade, every project. Why am I being told to leave?" Hargrove chuckles, low and dry, tapping the withdrawal form with his pen. "Earned it? Son, let's be real. Your record's too perfect. Too many A's too fast. I've seen your type cheating, cutting corners, riding scholarships you don't deserve. We're done carrying you." The accusation's a lie, bold and ugly, and Jamal feels it, rage simmering, but he holds it, his mind already working, mapping the fight ahead. The dean's office turns into a pressure cooker, the air thick with tension, the radiator rattling like a heartbeat, as Dean Richard Hargrove leans forward, his pen scratching across the withdrawal form, his smirk stretching wider at Jamal Carter's defiance. The room's a cage, dark wood walls closing in, bookshelves towering, the window framing a campus that feels a world away from this fight. Hargrove's voice drips with mockery, slow and deliberate, each word a jab meant to cut deep. "You think you're some kind of genius, don't you, Carter?" he says, his pale eyes glinting behind wire-rimmed glasses, his fingers tapping the desk like he's playing a game he's already won. 3 years, perfect grades, all those awards too good to be true for a kid like you. I've been in this game long enough to smell a fraud, and you reek of it. The accusation hangs there, raw and heavy, a lie spun from nothing but his bias, his need to see Jamal as less. Jamal stands steady, his hoodie sagging under his backpack, his hands clenched at his sides, his dark eyes locked on Hargrove, burning with a fury he's keeping leashed for now. "A fraud," he says, his voice low, steady, slicing through the dean's bluster like a knife. "I've got proof, every test, every lab, every professor who's graded me. You're calling me a cheat with no evidence. Just your word." Hargrove chuckles, a dry, grating sound, leaning back in his chair, arms crossing tight over his chest. "Evidence? Son, I don't need evidence. I've got instinct, experience. Kids like you don't make it here without help, without bending rules. You're a scholarship case. Probably plagiarized your way to the top, coasting on pity points." The room shifts. The words "kids like you" land, like a slap, a code for black, for poor, for everything. Hargrove's never said out loud, but always meant. The campus outside hums on, students laughing, leaves crunching underfoot, but in here, it's a standoff. Jamal against a man with power, a man who's spent years gatekeeping this school, keeping it safe for faces that match his own. "I've never cheated," Jamal says, his voice rising, a thread of steel weaving through it, his hands unclenching now, gesturing sharp. "I've worked nights, weekends, studied while my mom slept on the couch after double shifts. I earned this, every damn bit of it." Hargrove waves a hand, dismissive, his smirk unshaken. "Save the sob story," he says, tapping the form again, his pen leaving a faint ink smudge. "You're done, withdraw today, or I'll start a formal investigation. Cheating's a suspension at best, expulsion at worst. You won't win that fight." Jamal steps closer, just a half step, his backpack swinging, his presence filling the room despite the dean's towering desk. "An investigation," he says, his tone sharp now, challenging. "Based on what? You've got nothing, no reports, no complaints, just your hunch. That's not how this works." Hargrove's smirk falters for a heartbeat, a flicker of irritation crossing his face, but he doubles down, leaning forward, his voice hardening. How it works is I say you're out. And you're out. I've seen your file. Too many A's, too fast, too perfect for someone from your background. You think you're fooling us? I'm protecting this school's integrity. The lies bold, flimsy, a shield for his bias. And Jamal feels it, anger boiling, but he holds it, his mind racing, piecing together a defense. He pulls his backpack off, unzipping it slow, deliberate, laying out a stack of papers, lab reports, exams, letters from professors, a record of brilliance no one can deny. Here, he says, spreading them across the desk, his voice steady, commanding. Every grade, every project, signed, dated, verified. Call my professors. Check the logs. I've got nothing to hide. Hargrove glances at the papers, his smirk twitching, but he doesn't touch them, doesn't look too close. His mind's made up, his pen scratching again, finishing the form. Paper doesn't mean truth, he says, his voice tight now, his authority flexing. You're a risk, too many questions, too much noise. Sign this, leave quiet, or I'll make it loud for you. The room tightens. Jamal's future teeters. His scholarship, his degree, his dreams of engineering a better life, all dangling by Hargrove's whim. You're wrong, he says, his voice rising, a tide crashing over the dean's smug calm. You're punishing me for being good, for being black and good, and you've got no proof, just your prejudice. Hargrove slams his pen down, the sound sharp, his face reddening, his control slipping. Watch your mouth, boy. He snaps, standing now leaning over the desk, his shadow falling over Jamal. You don't talk to me like that. I run this school, not you. Sign it, or you're gone by tomorrow. Jamal doesn't flinch, his feet plant, his eyes narrow, his voice dropping low, a growl that fills the space. You don't scare me, he says, his hands steady, his papers a fortress on the desk. I've faced worse than you. Teachers who said I'd fail, streets that tried to kill me, and I'm still here, still winning. You want to push this? Go ahead. I've got more than papers, more than you think. Hargrove laughs, harsh, stepping around the desk now, his finger jabbing the air. More? What? Some sob story? Some lawyer friend? You're done, Carter. Pack your bags. Get out of my school. The crowd's not here. The office is empty. The campus blind. But Jamal feels it, the weight of every black kid told they don't belong. And he stands taller, his mind a weapon, his fight just starting. Hargrove grabs the form, thrusting it at Jamal, his voice a snarl. Sign it, now, or I'll call security. Have you dragged out? Jamal takes it, holds it, but doesn't sign. His eyes lock on Hargrove, a promise in them, a strength the dean can't see, can't touch. You're making a mistake, he says, his voice a whisper now, deadly, and you're gonna regret it. Hargrove laughs again, louder, turning back to his chair, his confidence swelling, thinking he's won, thinking Jamal's broken. But Jamal's not broken, not even close. His mind's racing, his plan forming, a twist brewing that Hargrove's too blind to sense. The radiator hums, the clock ticks, and the fight's not over, it's just begun. The dean's office turns into a battlefield, the air thick with heat and fury, the radiator rattling like a war drum as Jamal Carter stands over his papers, the withdrawal form crumpled in his hand, his dark eyes locked on Dean Richard Hargrove. The room's a pressure cooker, dark wood walls pressing in, bookshelves looming, the window framing a campus that's a world away from this fight. Hargrove leans back in his chair, arms crossed, his smirk stretched tight, his pen resting on the desk like a trophy, thinking he's crushed Jamal, thinking he's won. Time's up, Carter, he says, his voice a growl sharp with triumph, his pale eyes glinting with the thrill of power. Sign it, or security's on its way. You're done here. The threat's real, raw, a promise he's ready to keep, a line he's crossed before, with no one to stop him. Jamal doesn't move, not yet. His hoodie sagging, his hands steady, his gaze a blade cutting through Hargrove's bluster. You think you can erase me? he says, his voice low, steady, a rumble that shakes the room, a warning the dean doesn't hear. You think you can push me out with lies and win? Hargrove snorts, standing now, stepping closer, his shadow falling over the desk, his finger jabbing the air. Win? I already have. Boy, you're a nobody, a glitch in my system. Sign it, or you'll wish you had. The crowd's not here. The office is silent. The campus blind, but Jamal feels it. The weight of every black soul told they don't belong, and he stands taller, his mind a weapon, his fight igniting. Then it happens. The phone on Hargrove's desk rings, a shrill, piercing sound that cuts through the tension, freezing them both. Hargrove glances at it, his smirk faltering, his hand hesitating, but he grabs it, lifting it slow, his voice sharp. What? I'm busy. His face shifts, color draining, eyes widening, his breath catching as a voice crackles through, loud enough for Jamal to hear the tone, the authority, Dean Hargrove. It says, crisp, commanding, "This is President Evelyn Morrow. Put me on speaker now." Hargrove fumbles, his fingers shaking, hitting the button, and the room fills with her voice, a force that drowns his smug calm. "Jamal Carter's in your office, correct?" she says, her tone a blade, cutting through the silence. Hargrove stammers, "Yes, ma'am," but she cuts him off, relentless. "Good, because I've got something to say, and you're going to listen." Jamal stands still, his eyes narrowing, a flicker of recognition in them. He knows this voice, knows this moment, and he's ready. Hargrove's face twists, confusion, mixing with dread, his smirk gone, replaced by a scowl as Morrow's voice rolls on. Jamal Carter isn't just a student, he's the brightest mind this university's seen in a decade. 4.0 GPA, NASA internship, patents pending. Ring any bells, Richard? Or were you too busy signing his expulsion to check his file? The room gasps, figuratively, the walls themselves holding their breath. Hargrove's jaw drops, his hands gripping the desk, his world tilting. I didn't, he starts, but Morrow's not done, her voice rising, a thunderclap. "You didn't know, or you didn't care. I've got his professors on record, Dr. Ellis, Dr. Patel, Dr. Nguyen, all saying he's a genius, a leader, a future they're betting on. And you're trying to kick him out. Why? Because he's black and better than you ever were." Hargrove stumbles back, his chair creaking, his face ashen, his voice a weak protest. "It's not, that's not." But Jamal steps forward now, his voice joining hers, steady, commanding. "It's exactly that," he says, his eyes locked on Hargrove, burning through him. "You saw my grades, my skin, and decided I couldn't be real, decided I had to go, but I'm not going anywhere." Morrow's voice cuts back in, sharp, final. "He's right, Richard, and I've got more. The board's been watching you, complaints, patterns, black students pushed out, grades questioned with no cause. This ends now. Jamal stays, and you're on notice." The twist lands like a bomb. Hargrove stunned, speechless, his hands trembling, his desk a crumbling throne. Jamal stands taller, his hoodie a mantle now, his papers a fortress, his voice a roar. "You thought you could break me," he says, stepping closer, towering despite the desk between them. "But I've got the president, the board, the truth, and you've got nothing but your hate." Hargrove slumps, his breath ragged, his eyes darting, realizing too late. He's picked a fight with a giant he can't touch, a mind he can't outmatch. The phone clicks off, Morrow's voice gone, but her weight lingers, a judgment he can't escape. Jamal's not just a student, he's a force, a warrior, and Hargrove's world is falling apart. An hour later, the dean's office feels hollow, the air still, the radiator silent, as Dean Richard Hargrove sits slumped in his chair, his white hair a mess, his face a mask of shock and defeat, his smirk erased, replaced by a scowl that twists his features into something small, something broken. Jamal Carter walks out, his head high, his backpack slung over his shoulder, the withdrawal form shredded in the trash, the campus humming beyond the window, a world he's reclaimed, a fight he's won. Hargrove's desk is a graveyard, papers scattered, his pen snapped in two, his power shattered by a phone call he never saw coming. The halls buzz with whispers, students peering in, staff murmuring, words spreading fast. Jamal's triumph, Hargrove's fall, a story that's already legend before the day's out. President Evelyn Morrow's call echoes online by nightfall. Recordings leak, students post. The clip of her tearing into Hargrove hits 1 million views. Then 5, 10, a viral storm that lights up screens from Pennsylvania to the coasts. Jamal's not just a name now, he's a hero. A black student who took on a racist dean and won. His brilliance a beacon no one can dim. The board moves fast. Hargrove suspended pending review, his office locked. His career teetering, complaints piling up from years of bias he thought he'd buried. Professors rally, Ellis, Patel, New, N, publicly praising Jamal. Their letters flooding the university site, NASA tweeting his name. A scholarship doubled overnight. Hargrove's done, his smirk a ghost, his power a memory, a lesson carved in his ruin. Jamal's back in lab the next day, his robotics project humming, his hands steady on circuits, his mind racing with equations, unshaken, unbreakable, a star rising higher. He's not just a student, he's a symbol, a black man who turned their rules into his victory, who showed the world what happens when you push too far. His phone buzzes, reporters, classmates, his mom crying proud on the line, but he stays quiet, focused, sitting in the quad that night. The stars above a map of his future. He's not done pushing for reform, mentoring others, his voice a hammer. He'll wield again. The campus shifts. Students nod. Faculty glance his way, a respect spreading, a crack in the old walls. Hargrove's career crumbles. Suspension turns to resignation. His name mud. His laughter a cautionary tale whispered in halls he once ruled. Westfield feels different. Jamal's win a spark, a fire catching where black voices have been hushed too long. The video's comments flood, stories of deans, of doubts, of fights, and they see themselves in Jamal, see hope, see power. This is black triumph, raw, fierce, unshakable, a roar that echoes beyond Westfield, beyond one office, into every heart told it can't rise. If this hits you deep, smash that like. Subscribe, ring the bell, keep it alive, tell us. Have you faced this? Have you won? Drop it below. Let's roar together. This is Black Triumph Stories. We wield the truth. We make it thunder every damn time.